Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. I know you may be asking yourself, well Psycho, what are you going to do today? Well, you know what? We're going to go off and have another episode of that future award-winning Jukebox from Hell, that's right. So before we even get into this, I wanted to let you guys know that truthfully that I have received a lot of good positive memories and comments in regards to the previous episode, episode 32 of JBH, The Knack, But the Little Girls Understand from 1980. If you have not seen that video, go check that out. I think you may like it. It'll be a little bit insightful, and you're going to be able to go off and have this going here, and I think you might be surprised. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we are going to go to 1972, that's right, on the third episode of the fourth season, otherwise known as episode 33 on your scorecards. That's right, we are going to be looking into Dave Mason's Headkeeper, that's right. Now, before some of you people go off and go, well, Psycho, you idiot, Dave Mason's Headkeeper, there's actually a couple little touchstone reasons in regards to why this is being in consideration. When we do episodes for Jukebox from Hell, it doesn't necessarily mean that they deserve to be in the Jukebox from Hell. But we analyze, extract, go behind the scenes of every album we do. So it's like a review slash opinion slash judgment, if you will. This was actually a request from Tim Smith from Tim's Thrifty Music. That's right. Go check out Tim's channel. Tim's Thrifty Music. Go like and sub. He likes to do live streams every other Saturday mornings. At least last time I checked. I was on a handful of them. But he's a Dave Mason fan. And this was one of his suggestions. Here's the front. Here's the back. Alright. On a record collecting standpoint, this was released on Blue Thumb, which was a division of ABC Records. So this is your label. This is what you're going to be looking for, okay, for Dave Mason. I originally have listened to Alone Together. For example, I thought that was a great album. Of course, Dave was a member of Traffic. We know that. And also a session guitarist and other things extraordinaire in the late 60s, early 70s. So by the time we get to this, all right, it's a little bit different, and I'm going to explain why right now. The information today came from Dave Mason's official website, AllMusic and Wiki all combined, okay? So, what you got going here is, like I said, Headkeeper was recorded in late 1971, early 1972. The previous album that he had was Dave Mason and Cass Elliot, which I remember that album, and to me it was a little bit different, but yet kind of nice. That album at the time was number 49 on the Billboard 200. Now, in late 1971, he starts recording this album, Headkeeper. So Dave was hoping for a double LP, one studio, one live. He ended up doing some recordings in late 1971 live at the Troubadour Club in LA, California. But during the recording, there was controversy. Part of the reason why this is getting looked at here today. Dave Mason was pretty much the most popular artist on Blue Thumb, and he was. We look at around that time frame, what other people were on Blue Thumb. Well, I remember Pointer Sisters, I think, started on Blue Thumb. You had early sort of T-Rex was on there briefly on Blue Thumb. Things like that in smaller acts. There's probably other ones I'm missing, but we're just giving generalities. So when, like I said, ABC offshoot for Blue Thumb, so he wanted his contract renegotiated, but they said no. So after that, he snuck in the studio and took the master tapes for what this is. Now, This is not the first time I've heard of artists doing that. But here's the thing. Producer Tommy LaPuma, hope I'm pronouncing that right, assembled this album from safety copies that Mason didn't take. Dave calls this album that ended up being released a bootleg. And like I said, the live tracks here are from performances at the Troubadour in LA. Page 2, as Paul Harvey would say, his band for the particular album, of course, was Dave on electric and acoustic guitar and vocals, Felix Falcon on percussion and congas, Dr. Rick Jagger on drums, Mark Jordan on piano, keyboards, Lonnie Turner on bass, future member of Steve Miller. That's right, he'd be there in the mid-70s. Background vocals on this particular album, you got Rita Coolidge, Spencer Davis, Kathy McDonald, who of course was the singer after Janis Joplin in Big Brother and the Holding Company, and Graham Nash. This album only made it to number 51 on the Billboard Top 200. Headkeeper was released as a single, and it ended up being Billboard's Top 50 AOL record, number 1. All right, it went to number 1. But, like I said, we go off and take a look at this because A, the controversy in regards to Dave snuck the tapes. You do not have a master tape sound, but you've got a little under that. And then secondly, him calling this a bootleg. Was it justified? Yes or no? We're going to find out right now in the meat and potatoes of the 11 tracks that are on here. Track 1, To Be Free. A really nice ballad that turns halfway into a rolling, moving song. Remember that the embers of life are burning if you want them to. Indeed. Track 2, In My Mind, starts out with a little tasty slide/Indian raga-like guitar, like AKA George Harrison, actually. I can imagine George playing on this one, but he's not. Meaningful, and it does make you think. Love to lift you up to meet the maker of your mind. That's right. Track 3, here we go again. Insightful, nice harmonies. That melody, though, sounds like something familiar. I cannot put my finger on it, but I love the guitar picking on this track. It is awesome. Dave is a great guitar picker. Track 4, A Heartache, A Shadow, A Lifetime. A nice, sweet, rollicking song about life in love. I'll be home to you indeed. Track 5 to close out side 1, Headkeeper. Dave's a great lyric writer, and I just really love this song, to be honest with you. So we close out side 1. Side 2, track 6, Pearly Queen. I do like this song. It rocks, but the singing in parts is slightly annoying. Sorry, Dave. Can't put my finger on it, but it is. But that's the only little teeny-weeny speed bump so far. Track 7, Just a Song. Really dig this tune. It does become ear candy to me, and that's true, actually. It did. Track 8, World in Changes. Nice, moody, mid-tempo. I love the keyboards and the lyrics on this one. Track 9, Can't Stop Worrying, Can't Stop Loving. It's very insightful and really great acoustic guitar work on this track. And then, I don't know why I said 11 tracks, I'm an idiot, it's 10. Can't even read my own writing. Track 10, we close it out with a late 1971 live recording of Feeling All Right. Now, I'm biased here. I always liked that version of I've always loved this song. I like Joe Cocker's version, I like Dave's version, and it's just a really nice way to close out this album. So, the afterwards on this whole entire thing. So, Blue Thumb issued the rest of the unissued and unused Troubadour tracks in 1973. under the album Dave Mason Is Alive. Columbia Records bought out his Blue Thumb contract, and in October 1973 would release It's Like You Never Left. And by the way, on that album, track 3 has George Harrison on guitar, so go figure, right? Now, are you a Dave Mason fan? I am, and I was pleasantly surprised by Headkeeper, even being though that it was safety copies and not a master tape. So what though? The sound was really good. Dave, I can understand why you're calling this a bootleg, alright, but you're giving it a little injustice to yourself. This is probably one of the best Dave Mason albums, honestly, that I've heard, and I like the idea of the studio live mix. It's kind of cool that way. It's too bad we couldn't have seen what a double album would have looked like if Blue Thumb would have been a little more willing, if you will, to accommodate Mr. Mason. Are you a Dave Mason fan? Did you like him in Traffic? Did you like him as a solo artist? What was your favorite album? Did you end up getting this back in 1972? I do remember in the late 70s actually coming across this. I remember seeing this in cutout bins actually, which surprised me because I'm like, but whatever. You know, of course, most people from Dave Mason, they just know we just disagree, right? But there's a lot more to Mr. Mason than that, all right? So what's your favorite album? What's your favorite Dave Mason song? Put it in the comments, okay? So what's next for the Jukebox from Hell? Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. This time it's a slight segue. Yeah, it kind of is. There's a common finality here on this. We're going to go ahead 23 years. Yeah, we're going to go to October 1995 this time. This album, I'm not going to lie, has been talked about in the VC and the YouTube here. And it has been reviewed a handful of times. I know this. That's why I didn't do it sooner in Jukebox from Hell. I wanted to let it breathe a little bit. We're going to go off and review an album from a classic 60s and 70s rock band that pretty much got him kicked off the label. And, oh boy. We are talking about the album Time from Fleetwood Mac. That's right. Look, the little penguin's trying to come out, see? That's going to be the next episode of Jukebox from Hell. Now, if you have any suggestions for future episodes from Jukebox from Hell, drop them in the comments, because the episode after this one is another request. So I love doing requests. I will gladly do them. I'll put them in the suggestion book, and like I said, if I pick your episode, I'll give you a shout out like I just did with Tim Smith from Ep.33 Music. Alright guys, I love you. Till next time, God bless, rock on, always powered by coffee, each and every time. The Mighty Psycho promise here, right to you. Take care, everybody.